Well, welcome back to my studio. I'm working on another one of my little embryos. These are painted on ampersand cradle panels, and here's one that I've already painted. In fact, this one has been sold. You can see I've painted the side black, and then the back I attach a hanging wire, and I paint a white with a white acrylic, just a white spot here on the back to put the labeling and everything in. But this, you can see how it's done. Then on this one, you can see how I've taped off that black side. I paint the black side before I begin painting my embryo and let it dry, so then I can just tape this off to protect it. When I pull the tape off, you can see how that gives a clean side there. But that's how the embryos are. These are fun little paintings to do, and today I'm working on a rooster. I'm going to start with a background of, this is phthalo blue plus white. This blue-green will just make a beautiful contrast to that, his red comb in there. I use this is what we call a bright brush. It has a square end. You can see how I can just work it around the detail there, around his head. I have 3 mixtures of this made. One has more white in it, and I'm going to have the lighter part up behind his head. Now my red of his comb, I sketched this in with a mixture of mud, which is 2 parts of ultramarine blue plus 1 part of alizarin crimson, and I mixed that with a little liquid. And I've sketched that in with the mud, and then the comb is alizarin crimson plus liquid. And that's still a little wet, so I have to be careful that I don't drag that color into the background as I'm working carefully around it. And I can just work with the corner of the brush. Notice I keep wiping my brush out. That's the secret to keeping clean color on your painting, is you need a clean brush. So now I'm using a maul stick. This hooks over the top of my easel. It's metal. We got this at Container Store. It's actually used for removing clothes off of like the top rod in a closet or in a store. But it really makes a great maul stick also. I need to mix a little more of my paint. I didn't mix quite enough. I try to pre-mix my colors so I don't have to stop when I'm in the middle and mix some more to match it, but sometimes I don't get enough. And when I paint his comb, I'll come back and smooth out these edges. But I just want to get my background covered here. We pretty well have worked around that. Now as I start working back this direction, I start getting a little darker. So this is my second mixture that's just a little bit darker. It doesn't matter if I go into my sketch a little bit, because I'll come back. But I want, I can repaint the edges over this background. And I'll have the little feathers come out into the background. Now this is darker then. I come back darker. My light's coming from above, so we'll get darker as we go down. And I want my background, I don't want it to be super smooth. I want it to be more impressionistic. Give some movement in the painting. The legs go off because the painting's so small, I come in closer on the rooster, so I don't worry about showing his feet or anything. So again, I bring my dark down in here. Now this is kind of the middle tone. Like I say, I'm real loose on doing my background. I don't want it to be real smooth. I want a lot of just feeling of movement in there. I kind of have designed how my feathers come up, so I'm following that fairly closely. Again, this is a closer up, so his feathers will break out of the edge of the panel. These are wonderful little panels to paint on. I prime them with a coat of white acrylic, and I get them from, you can get them from Cheap Joe's, you can get them from Jerry's Artorama, but they're called ampersand, A-M-P-E-R-S-A-N-D, and they are just really fun to paint on. It's a nice surface, has a little bit of texture, kind of a canvas texture to it, and it's just, like I say, they're a lot of fun. Fun for these little baby paintings. So there I've got my background in there. And I save my color because I'll need to come back as I paint the rooster and be able to work around some of the feathers and stuff to soften them. Now I do want this feather up here that's breaking out of the canvas. I am going to want it to come around, so I just want to indicate that so I'll remember. And these, again, these just give a nice flow. And I think I'm going to use a little bit of, now I'm going to use ivory black here to indicate these tail feathers that, and his legs, these are going to be black. So I'll just go ahead and put this in while my edges are still wet, or while the paint behind it is still wet, then really wet, and I can make that kind of soft and feathery. This is pure ivory black. And these feathers on the other side come around. He's kind of turning, and so you see some of these feathers in the back come around. And you can just see how I let those be soft into that background. Let me do a little bit of his leg here. This is a mixture of my mud plus some cadmium orange. We'll just go ahead and get his legs in here. I don't want these to be real prominent. Do want a little bit of light. My light's coming in from the upper left, so this front edge of this will be a little bit lighter. And then this leg here. And on the back of his legs they're a little rougher. So we just come in and put and then again, I'm taking my background color, just kind of soften that edge. Soften this edge of his back leg. Back leg, he doesn't have any front legs. His leg, Jack would call his wings arms. So those are his arms and legs. But now I can just take a clean brush. I want to soften this edge. And just see how that softens into the background. Clean my brush out again. And that just softens that edge. I don't want these edges to be real hard because I want his legs and I want them to be there but not real prominent, because the main focal point is going to be his head. Put a place here. Didn't get covered. There we go. You have to be really careful, even on canvas, on these panels, that you don't want those little white spots showing through. Make sure that your paint totally covers. So there we are. We've got our background painted, got his legs painted, and I really appreciate you watching my YouTube videos. Please subscribe to my channel and visit my blog. The blog for this painting shows the complete step-by-step process of the painting. I've had a lot of people ask, well, I love this painting, but where's the rest of it? And if you'll go into the description below, the link for this blog is in the description. My blog address is also on the final frame of the YouTube video. So you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to my blog. So I really appreciate you following along. Please feel free to ask questions in the comments section. And you just have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks again.